So Jesper, 20 minutes into that, I'm sure you'd have taken a 2-all draw, but do you feel you had enough in that game to maybe come away with a win in the end?
You know, you always in the second half. I think that we pushed. I think that we didn't play it smart after the 2-2 goal. It was too stressed. We made a lot of mistakes on our way up the field, which allowed counter attacks the other way. So I think that we've definitely pushed the period from the start of the second half to 2-2 was very, very good. And then in the end they could have scored. Of course they could. It was a big chance and it was a great save by Johe. And I think we were behind 2-0 after 18 minutes against a very good team. But we kept calm. We were a little flat in the beginning of the game. And was not really that energetic. We had some bad positioning in the first half, and we changed that a little bit in the break. And I think also, Ali came in and made a difference.
We've kind of talked to you and the players about how you're in this routine of 2 games a week and you're kind of getting used to it. The games where there's maybe been a bit of adversity this year have been the games where it's 1 game weeks. Is that just a coincidence, or do you feel that the players need to be in this rhythm of the 2 game weeks at the moment?
No, I think it's a good question because it certainly can feel that we are better off when we play midweek. Sometimes we have a very congested and tough schedule, and then we need to relax afterwards and gather energy again. But sometimes it may be the case that we need to maybe push a little harder also in between the games. But I think it's normal that you take the foot off the pedal in a period that's been very hard, and then it can be difficult just to get up to the pace immediately. We saw today that we looked strong in the second half, so I was not worried by any of that, but we looked flat in the first.
Jesper, was it the plan to not start Ali and Emmanuel and have them come on in the second half?
Yeah, it was. It's a good thing to have a certain way of starting and then have players where you know that you can have maybe players come in and change the game from the bench. I think we've done that many times and we've seen that many times. So the team you start is important. The team you finish is also very important.
And what was said at halftime, and what kind of adjustments did you make for the game to change?
Yeah, we had a little bit difficulties with the way we made our pressure in the first half. We ran a lot without really being aggressive enough. We changed a little bit upon that in the let Brian jump from the front, and then we had we allowed Tate to attack a little bit more in the left, play underneath them a little bit more in the front. In the first half, we didn't get behind them. We played in front of them. It was very easy for them to defend against us because they had the play in front of them all the time. So we tried to make some changes that way around.
Jesper, does it say something about the confidence of this team when even though you're down 2-0, you do come back? You can't talk about past like that team because you weren't here. But speak of what you've seen with this team, its resilience, its ability to come back from deficit.
I think what is important is that when you play 20 minutes, you're early in the game. You have a game plan you trust and rely on, and don't all of a sudden get caught too much in the moment. We made some stupid mistakes. They scored on the throw-in, and we made a very, very stupid penalty, but that's what happens. And then all of a sudden you're behind, but don't go into panic mode. In the break, I think, it was easy because we knew that we could do better. We knew that we could come out with more energy and better quality on the ball, and we also knew that that we could do a little bit of changes that could help us. So it wasn't about screaming and yelling in the break. It was more making an adjustment here and there, and then just have the confidence that you're 1 goal behind and you can still get a result.
Jesper, I wanted to talk about Edir Ocampo's performance today. obviously every player has an off day, and he had been in a really good form prior to this. Today wasn't his best performance. He took him off towards the end. What do you think went wrong, and how are you hoping for him to sort of bounce back ahead of next week's match?
Oh, he will definitely bounce back. He has been good for a long while now, and I can see that he was up against a very good defender attacker as well, where he also was activated a lot. With Boanga, of course, that's a difficult task. It's a young player, and he has to learn from also, making a penalty like that in the beginning. It also, maybe shake your confidence a little bit. So I think that playing through this and also knowing that you are not there yet, you still have to try to pushing your talent and be even better. This happens for every player, also experienced players, right? So I think this is not something that I'm, concerned about or anything, but he has to learn from it. And that's the most important part, because we all make mistakes, and Eddie made a couple today, and that's how it is. He's been great for us, and he's a young player. He just has to learn from this.
And then I wanted to ask about Pedrovic's substitution, especially with LFC starting to drop deeper. What was the thinking behind taking off Vite and bringing on Sabi, and how do you think that kind of worked out to your favor?
We took out Pedro. He had a minor thing with his foot, so that was it. We're still in a period of the season where we don't risk a lot with the players, and no, we needed a player that could be a threat behind them with Ali and also with Sabi later on, and I think that was the key in the first half. Both Pedro and Sebastian dropped too far back. So when Pedro drops back, it pushes Sebastian even further back. So I think that was not a good thing. We talked about we had to have positions where we could attack them, because we could break and play behind Boanga, and especially in that side we needed a guy that could be a threat in the backspace.
How do you manage focusing on the MLS season, knowing that the CONCACAF Champions game is in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I would say that of course when you are in a Champions Cup final, you can feel it on the players. You can also feel that there's noise around a game like that, and it's not a normal thing. So of course it's a game that is not that far out in the future, but we have some games played in between. But it's also a game that maybe fill up the space a little bit more than it should do. But it will always be the case, and it's normal. So we just try to focus on the games ahead, and focus on the competition in the squad, making sure that everybody is ready every time, and then set the team after who is good at the moment, and how can we also make sure that we have the right competition level, because I guess that everybody would like to start the game in Mexico City, but also important that we can perform in the league while this is still an adventure lying ahead, right?
Okay, we'll now go online. Jonathan.
Great, thank you. Hey, it's Jonathan here from MLS Soccer. Brian White returns to the lineup tonight, gets 2 goals, of course. What did his return mean for the group? And wanted to hear your perspective on the very, very early golden boot chase. He's one of 4 players on 8 goals. It's tight. There's a lot of players in there, but he's on pace for a great season.
Yes, of course he is on pace for a special season, maybe. Brian is a player where when you have him on the pitch, you have the feeling that he can always score, and it's a great feeling to have. And he's been great for us all year long, also in the games where he hasn't scored. So I just think that for me, when I talk to Brian, it's about not focusing too much to try to push towards his chances, but more let them occur naturally, and don't force anything. And I think that he's found a very good balance of all the time helping the team, all the times be in positions in the box where we also want him to be when we're attacking. So I think, yeah, it's great to have him. He's a very good player, and he also gives us the feeling that we can always get a goal out of him.
Jesper, you're playing nothing but Western Conference opponents this month, so you've played a pretty big player in the West in LAFC today and through the rest of May. With the fact that one or two teams are starting to move up, particularly your Cascadia rivals like Seattle are starting to get into form. Portland won last night. They're in the top 5. When you're looking at performances and results even over the next couple of weeks in relation to the position you want to be in the Western Conference, what's the thought process and the goal here, being that you've got basically 6 pointers here between now and the end of the month?
Yeah, I don't focus on the standings, really. Obviously, I know where we are positioned, and it's that's how it is. But no, I don't. It's still early in the season, so having the thought that we should go out every week and try to protect, the lead in the Western Conference standings is not where we should be at the moment. We should be focusing on our performances and the games that we play and the games that lies ahead of us. And then, of course, over the course of the season, you'll have games where you perform poorly and don't get the result you want, and you will have hopefully more than so games where you perform well, and we have performed well, and we have to continue. And for me, the way we play comes before the results, because if we don't play well enough, we will not get the results over the course of the season, and that's why I was happy with the second half today, even though I think that the first half we could have definitely have played better. So I'm not that much into the standings and all that. I can't do anything about what happens when Portland meets Kansas. They play their game, and we just have to be ready for the games ahead of us.
If I could ask you as well, did you think that today was a really good advert for MLS in terms of what we saw from both teams today?
Yeah, I think it was two good teams. I think it was two good teams, good players on the pitch. You mentioned Brian. We've seen Boanga. We've seen good players on both teams play at a very good level, I think. Yeah, I think if this is the typical games for the MLS, then it's very good and high standard.
Jesper, this was your first game in the Whitecaps LAFC rivalry. There's lots of feistiness, some interesting calls against both teams. What was your thoughts on the feistiness and some of those calls this evening?
Yeah, you always want to try. I also told them from the sideline, the fourth referee, we will try to help them. They didn't want to help all the time, but that's okay. But I just think it's great. I think it's great if it animates the audience even more and get an even better atmosphere around the game. I just think it's great for the players. It's great for everybody. So that's good. I will not comment much on the the calls that were given both sides. It was what it was, and it was a good game with feistiness, as you said, and I like when the game is on like today. It was good.
You mentioned a minor thing with Pedro's foot. What about Sam at the quad? Is that minor? Is that a re-aggravation, or what's happening with Sammy?
Yeah, we don't know yet, so we just have to figure out. We haven't really figured out yet. It happened yesterday. It didn't look that serious, but we have to figure out. Okay, good.